People who vanish without a trace. The small town of Millfield had never known a mystery it couldn't solve until James Thornton disappeared. On a crisp autumn morning in 2018, James kissed his wife Rebecca goodbye, walked out the front door of their Victorian home on Maple Street, and simply never returned. His car remained in the driveway. His wallet sat on his nightstand. His phone was found 2 days later on a park bench 3 blocks away, the battery dead. The first 48 hours were a blur of search parties combing the woods, police dogs sniffing through neighborhoods, and Rebecca's voice growing hoarser as she called his name into the darkness. By the end of the first week, the local news had moved on to other stories. By the end of the first month, only Rebecca and Detective Sandra Reeves continued to actively search. "People don't just vanish," Detective Reeves would say, clicking her pen rhythmically against her notepad. "There's always something. A trace, a clue." But James had defied this logic. At 42, the high school history teacher had no enemies, no secret debts, no apparent reason to run. Security cameras throughout town had yielded nothing. Not a single witness had seen him after 7:15 that morning. As months stretched into a year, Rebecca found herself in a peculiar state of suspended grief. Without a body, without closure, she existed in limbo, unable to mourn properly, unable to move forward. She kept his clothes in the closet. She renewed his driver's license when it expired. Each night, she set his place at the dinner table, just in case. On the anniversary of his disappearance, Rebecca received a postcard in the mail. No return address, no message, just a picture of the Rocky Mountains and a single fingerprint in what appeared to be ash. The fingerprint didn't match James or anyone in the police database. The postcard was the first of many. Every few months, another would arrive. Images of distant places, each bearing a single fingerprint in ash. A lighthouse in Maine, a desert in Arizona, the Chicago skyline, a beach in Florida. Rebecca collected them in a box, tracing the invisible line of an impossible journey. Detective Reeves, now working the case on her own time, developed a theory. "I think he's trying to tell us something. These aren't random locations." Together, they plotted the images on a map and realized they formed a perfect circle around a small town in Nevada called Eventide. Population 215, according to the most recent census. A town that wasn't on any map printed before 2018. When they arrived in Eventide, they found a community unlike any other. The residents, all adults of varying ages, greeted them warmly but vaguely. Yes, they knew James. No, he wasn't currently in town. Would they like to stay for dinner? The town itself seemed oddly pristine. No cracked sidewalks, no peeling paint, no signs of age or wear. The diner served perfect pie. The hotel had crisp, clean sheets. Everything felt both familiar and slightly wrong, like a dream of home rather than home itself. On their third night in Eventide, Rebecca woke to find a figure standing at the foot of her bed. "You shouldn't have come, Becca," said James, his voice exactly as she remembered it. In the moonlight streaming through the window, she could see him clearly. He hadn't aged a day. His eyes reflected something ancient and knowing. "What happened to you?" she whispered. "I went for a walk," he said simply. "I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. And then I was elsewhere." He explained in fractured sentences about doorways between worlds, about communities of the disappeared living in pockets of reality adjacent to our own. Some had stumbled through accidentally. Others had been guided. A few had been taken. All of them existed now in a kind of parallel life, able to observe the world, but not fully rejoin it. "We aren't supposed to make contact," he said. "But I couldn't bear seeing you in pain. The postcard were a risk." "Come home," she pleaded. His smile was tender but resolute. "This isn't something I can undo, Becca. I exist differently now. Returning would mean," he paused, searching for words. "It would be like trying to step back into a photograph. I can't be confined to that reality anymore." By morning, both James and the entire town of Eventide had vanished. Where buildings had stood, Rebecca and Detective Reeves found only desert. Their car sat alone on an empty stretch of highway, no sign of civilization for miles. Back in Millfield, Rebecca stopped setting a place for James at dinner. She donated his clothes. She packed away the postcards. But sometimes, on clear nights, she sits on the porch swing and speaks to the stars, telling him about her day. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, when the wind blows just right, she swears she can hear his voice carried back to her, telling her about wonders she can barely imagine. Detective Reeves filed her final report on the case with a single line: some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. She still keeps a map in her drawer, though marked with a perfect circle of thumbtacks, just in case another disappearance follows the same pattern, just in case there are more doorways than we know. The postcard stopped coming after Rebecca's visit to Eventide, all except one, which arrived exactly a year later. It showed no location, just a night sky filled with stars. And instead of a fingerprint, a message written in ash. Some who wander are not lost. Rebecca keeps this one on her nightstand, not as a reminder what she lost, but as evidence of what exists beyond the boundaries of what we think we know. Because people do vanish without a trace, and sometimes somewhere they are found again in ways we can't begin to understand.